Thank you, Logan O'Neal, for taking some time to talk to me. You are the Q4 Strategic Award winner here at Clickstop. I just want to preface this by saying I was also nominated for this award, and it is an honor that I lost to you.
Oh gosh.
So, I mean, I would lose to you in a lot of things, but I'm okay with losing to this. So, so for anybody who is new here, doesn't know who you are, I just kind of like to start off with stating essentially how long you've worked here and what department, and essentially what is your role here at Clickstop.
Yeah, I've been here a little over 4 years now, and I'm a developer here at Clickstop.
The old web developer. What
Yes.
what got you to get into something like that? Like, I mean, not that I would like to just be a laborer for the rest of my life, but I never once to think like, hey, I want to be a web developer.
It's kind of funny because I definitely didn't set out on the path of being a developer at any point.
Yeah.
um, So I actually went to school to be an electrical engineer because my dad told me that that was what I was going to do. And, I gave it a good old college try. I had an internship and I absolutely hated it. Took about a year off and decided that I never wanted to go back to school.
Hmm. Okay.
Tried making my own website and like company when I was super young called Coffee Spark, where
Okay.
basically I would interview people and talk about what they were passionate about, and started this whole website and all of this like podcast stuff. This was so long ago too. It was like right when podcasts were just starting to be like a huge thing. And I found myself actually getting more involved in building my website and getting into the details of code. And I started doing Treehouse, I think is what it was called at the time, which was like a code academy. And I just fell in love with it. It was like, I think the first thing that I did was like some WordPress site changes. And then I ended up going to Mount Mercy for software development and did a couple internships while I was there and absolutely loved it. Fell in love. All of a sudden started up at Clickstop and haven't looked back.
It's been a couple years since you've been in house for us to be able to really talk. What have you been up to? I mean, I know you're in a house right now. Did you get a new house? I mean, what's been going on in Logan's world?
Oh gosh, so many changes. I did buy my house. I am officially a homeowner. That was that was a big change for me. I absolutely love it. I'm in a really great area. It's definitely an older home, but this is like the first time that I've had a backyard and the ability to do whatever I want with it. And so I've been going crazy on gardening. This will be my second year with a garden, which I'm super excited about.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then running, and that's about it.
Have you been doing peppers at all? Because I know how much you love lectin proteins.
So I had a great learning experience with peppers, like hot peppers. Um, I tried growing jalapenos and gosh, I forget the Anaheims.
Yes.
And the Anaheims turned out great, but I should have talked to Pepper Joe's peeps because I had no idea what I was doing with the jalapenos. And apparently, you're supposed to not water them as frequently because otherwise they just turn into bell peppers.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was what they did. They
Yeah.
just tasted like bell peppers. And I was like, this is a waste of my time.
Essentially, you ran for what seemed to be 14 years, and now you're back. So, talk a little bit about that.
Well, so I basically, my parents were marathon runners growing up. So I ran
Hey.
for a while when I was a kid, just between the ages of like, I don't know, probably as soon as I could run until maybe freshman year of high school. And then, you hit those years where you're just like, I'm too good for this. I'm not going to follow in my parents' footsteps.
I was
So,
just gonna say, I bet you that's what it was, like a reluctance to be like your parents.
yes.
Uh,
And so, I did soccer, but I never did cross country or anything like that. Soccer was just really the only place that I had any running experience. But I was mid, so I was literally running up and down the field the entire time. And then, I do like 2 or so miles every like couple of weeks throughout the years, but all of a sudden, probably, I want to say it was 2019. It might have been 2020. I just decided that I was going to start running. And my first goal was a marathon. And I reached out to a friend of mine and was like, hey, I want to run this marathon. Are you in? And she was like, yeah. And then we just started building each other up. We got really into Courtney DeWalter, who is this just absolutely insane ultra runner. And we were like, if we can do a marathon, we can do a 50K, which is like 31.2 something miles. I mean, like, really the difference is like 5 miles. Why not? And then, of course, we picked like the worst possible trail ultra that we could have picked in Iowa, which was the Crater Trail Run, which has like 6,000 feet of elevation per loop, I think. So it's just absolutely insane. I've never seen my feet in worse state than after that.
oh,
And then after I did that, I was just like, you know what? Like, if I can do 30 miles, I can do 60 miles. That's
stop,
fine.
stop.
Even though it's only like a couple months away, like, why not? Why not just like see what I can do? And so, like, the Mines of Spain is broken up into 2 different races where it's either 100K or 100 miles. And so 100 miles, it's like a 48-hour, like you're running through the night kind of ordeal. I just stuck to the 100K because I was like, I feel like doubling is enough. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
And I actually did relatively well for the amount of training that I ended up doing. I'm glad that I attempted it, but definitely excited for this year now that I've learned so much about everything. I have a 50 miler set up for, it's less than a month away now, April 16th. I'm going to be doing the Loud Thunder 50 miler. And so that's super exciting. And this last Friday, actually, I completed my first like road 50K just by myself running around Cedar Rapids for 30 miles. So, and it was my first 50-mile week. So just 2 like really huge like points for me.
Well, before I let you go, I gotta ask, what's the kitty's name in the background? I can just faintly see.
You see her here?
Yeah.
Her name is Odin Skoll.
Odin Skull.
Yes. First
Nice.
name Odin, middle name Skoll. She's a cutie.
Logan, before we talk for 6 hours, I probably should let you go. It was a pleasure as always to talk to you and kind of get to see what you've been up to the last year and a half, 2 years, really. I just want to say thank you again for taking the time out to talk to me. I have learned a lot about shoes and the fact that I am really out of shape just listening to you talk.